The Mystery of the Indus Script, A Lost Language in Time. Prologue, The Silent Stones of an Ancient Civilization. The year was 1922. The sun blazed over the dusty plains of the Sindh region in British India, now modern-day Pakistan. Beneath the ground, unseen for millennia, lay the ruins of an ancient city, Mohenjo-Daro, one of the great metropolises of the lost Indus Valley civilization. As archaeologists dug through layers of earth and time, they uncovered something unexpected: strange symbols, etched into seals, pottery, and walls, symbols that spoke of a forgotten world. Little did they know, they had stumbled upon one of the greatest linguistic mysteries in history, the undeciphered script of the Indus Valley civilization. What was written on these ancient stones? Was it a language like Sumerian cuneiform or Egyptian hieroglyphs? Or was it merely a collection of trade symbols, a system of record-keeping? A century has passed, yet the Indus script remains an unbroken code, an enigma whispered through time, waiting for its voice to be heard again. A civilization without a voice. A lost civilization rises from the dust. For years, historians believed that the great civilizations of the world, Egypt, Mesopotamia, and China, stood alone in the dawn of human progress. But the discoveries at Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro changed everything. This was no ordinary settlement. The cities had grid-planned streets, advanced drainage systems, multi-storied houses, and massive granaries. But amid these architectural marvels, archaeologists found something even more intriguing: hundreds of seals bearing a mysterious script. At first, they thought it might be a variation of Brahmi or Sanskrit, but as more seals were unearthed, a new realization struck. This was something entirely unique, a language that had been lost for over 4,000 years. The first clues: a seal with a strange beast. In the dim glow of an oil lamp, a British archaeologist named John Marshall sat at his desk, carefully examining a small square seal. On it, he saw a strange animal, part bull, part unicorn, standing before an altar. Above the creature, there were 6 tiny symbols, carved with delicate precision. He turned to his assistant, excitement in his voice. "Look at these marks. This is not random. This is writing." Similar seals surfaced at Harappa, showing other animals: elephants, tigers, even a strange 3-headed beast. Some seals depicted human-like figures seated in meditation, reminiscent of later Hindu depictions of Shiva. What did these symbols mean? Were they names, titles, prayers? No one knew. And so, the search for answers began. Attempts to break the code. The quest for a Rosetta Stone. The breakthrough for Egyptian hieroglyphs came with the Rosetta Stone, which had the same text written in Greek, Demotic, and hieroglyphs. But the Indus script had no such bilingual inscription. Scholars scoured ancient Mesopotamian records, hoping to find references to the Indus traders who were known to have sailed to Sumer. While the Sumerians called them Meluhans, they left behind no translations of their language. In the absence of a Rosetta Stone, linguists turned to pattern recognition. They analyzed the frequency of symbols, looking for repeating patterns that might indicate names, places, or grammatical rules. But the script refused to yield its secrets. Theories and wild guesses. Was it a Proto-Dravidian language? One of the most famous theories came from Asko Parpola, a Finnish linguist who proposed that the Indus script was an early form of Dravidian, the language family that includes Tamil and Telugu. He pointed to certain recurring symbols that might correspond to words in Tamil. For example, a fish-like symbol appears frequently. In Tamil, the word for fish, meen, also means star. Could this be a reference to astronomy? But without longer inscriptions, there was no way to confirm this theory. Or was it an ancient Indo-Aryan language? Another group of scholars argued that the Indus people spoke a Proto-Indo-Aryan language, a precursor to Sanskrit. They pointed to later Vedic hymns that described great cities along the Sarasvati River, a now dry river that once flowed near many Indus sites. Did the Indus people compose early hymns to gods like Agni and Indra, their prayers lost in time? Or were they a completely different civilization with no connection to later Indian traditions? A unique system, not a language? Some researchers, like Gregory Possehl, proposed that the Indus script might not be a language at all. Instead of recording speech, perhaps the symbols were pictograms representing goods, trade transactions, or religious symbols, more like a system of accounting than a written language. But then, why would the Indus people carve them so carefully on seals, tablets, and amulets? Was there a sacred meaning behind them? The mystery deepened. Chapter 5: The End of a Civilization, the Death of a Language. The vanishing cities around 1900 BCE, the great cities of the Indus Valley, began to decline. The once mighty river that had nourished their fields changed its course, leaving settlements dry and vulnerable. Trade with Mesopotamia collapsed. And perhaps invaders from the north, the Aryans or other migrating tribes, arrived, bringing new languages and customs. Whatever the cause, the people of the Indus Valley abandoned their cities. With them, their script, their language, their stories, all vanished into history. No one copied their writings. No later civilization preserved their knowledge. And so, their words were swallowed by the sands of time. Epilogue: a code waiting to be cracked. The ruins of Mohenjo-daro still stand, silent and watchful. The Indus seals, once pressed into soft clay by merchants and scribes, now lie in museums, their messages unread. But the search is not over. In recent years, AI and machine learning have begun analyzing the Indus script, searching for patterns that might help decode it. Advances in genetics and archaeology may one day reveal who the Indus people were and what language they spoke. And maybe, just maybe, somewhere in the dust of history, a lost tablet, a forgotten bilingual inscription, or a hidden manuscript waits to be discovered, one that will finally break the code of the Indus script and allow its people to speak again. Until then, the script remains a whisper from the past, a puzzle that defies time itself.